Hey, I got a question. What time is it? I'll check for you. It's Asexual O'Clock. Hey Logic listeners, I hope you guys are having an absolutely wonderful day or night whenever you happen to be watching this video. I want to give this video just a little bit of context because this video is going to be really different from the videos I usually make. It's going to be a great time, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys will stick around and watch it with me because I'm going to enjoy making this video. There will probably be at the very least some asexual folks, because this is going to be an asexual video, who will enjoy watching it and listening to it because it's definitely going to be different, but it's going to hopefully help people who are asexuals, who are public about asexuality, and who have conversations with allosexuals, which, if you don't know, is the term that most asexuals, at the very least the ones that I know, use to describe people who are not asexual. And we have lots of very interesting conversations with allosexual folks. Lots of them are good conversations, some of them aren't so good. This video is going to help people have a better response to some of the criticisms and bad ideas that allosexuals come at asexuals with. It's also going to be used as a way for me to just sort of vent about some of the things that people have said to me, both in public and online. Probably not going to be for everyone. I'm not going to say that it's for everyone in my community, but I know that I need it as someone who is a public asexual, and I hope that other folks find it at least a little bit useful, learn something from it. You never know. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the flip side. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day. You just know that you're all beautiful people. Look, man, I got lots of opinions about asexuality, and I want to share them with people, you know? So sometimes I go on to content that is created by asexual folks, and I ask them questions. What you gonna do? Well, the first thing you're gonna do is pay asexual content creators. Don't come and waste their time and emotional energy for free. If you're gonna do that, at the very least make sure they get properly financially compensated, because creating asexual content is hard work and it's emotionally draining. It's frustrating. But the second thing you're gonna do is you're gonna come to me, we're gonna create an assumption-free zone, and I am going to plainly ask you, for the sake of fairness, what did you ask the asexual content creators whose content you went onto and whose time you took up? Doc, you're gonna love this. I went onto their content and I asked them deeply invasive personal questions. I asked them about their medical history. I asked them about their sexual history. I asked them stuff like if they had tried sex, you know, for the sake of science, for the sake of experimentation. Isn't that just great? Alright, I'm gonna make a note of that. So you're telling me that you went on to a content creator's platform, you listened to the content they created, and then you sort of tested them? Do you not see how weird that is? Watch their content? Psh, no. That'd mean I'd have to listen to them, and maybe learn something. Come on, no one goes onto YouTube to watch things and to learn. That's crazy talk. No, I went on, found out that they were talking about asexuality, and then just sort of blasted my opinions. I don't actually read the research that's been done on asexuality. I don't actually listen to asexuals. I just want people to know how edgy I am. Isn't that the purpose of the internet? That's my purpose for being on the internet, anyway, and, you know, you better not disagree with me. Otherwise, it's gonna be time for fisticuffs. Are you telling me that you just go on and you find their stuff and you just bother them and you ask them personal and invasive questions? Because that's really weird. What is the purpose of asking them personal and invasive questions? Are you under the impression that they're broken and that they need to be fixed? Because that's very much not the case, but telling them that they're broken could create a sort of vicious self-fulfilling prophecy, and it could lead some of them to not want to create content anymore. And even if you don't like their content, there are other people who do, and people who find community and solace in watching people who can create content actually create content. And that doesn't mean that every single asexual content creator is great, or that they're a unified voice of any sort, but the diversity of experiences and the diversity of content created by asexual content creators is part of what makes the part of the internet that's populated by asexual folks so neat. There's lots of really insightful historical analysis, lots of really insightful media analysis. There's lots of different conversations about sexuality and about human relationships. It's honestly kind of fantastic in the asexual content creator sphere. And lots of people, including people who aren't asexual, enjoy the content they create. That doesn't mean that everyone is in accordance with asexual folks, and there's legitimate conversations to be had, and there are real opportunities to help educate people who actually want to learn. But do you want to learn? Sure, I'm even subscribed to some people, maybe even some asexual content creators. The thing is, I just don't understand asexuality, and I don't really feel like learning. And sure, that frustrates some people, but if they're on the internet, they should have tough skin, right? If they're on the internet, they should be ready to persuade people of their ideas and demonstrate through the scientific method that what they're saying is true and that other people already agree with them, that the research is settled, you know? Because that's the way this works. Yeah. I'm not going to parrot the idea that asexuality is something new, but homosexuality was taken out of the DSM in 1973 in the United States. That is less than 50 years ago. There's absolutely no reason to believe that asexuality would, one, be the super popular thing that everyone understands, or two, be super accepted in a society that is to this day struggling to accept homosexuality, and is far less along for the other sexualities that aren't asexuality. It's going to be tough for asexual folks to get the acceptance that they deserve, and you aren't helping anyone. And that matters, because some people go online to find solace and to find community, and lives were changed when people started understanding that asexuality is a thing. They stopped feeling broken. They started feeling like whole people who just viewed the world and felt attraction differently than other people do. And you're over here telling them to defend themselves when they're just learning what it means to even be themselves. That is incredibly dangerous and horrendously harmful. Look, Doc, I didn't come on the internet to feel bad, and you're making me feel bad. Are you telling me that I shouldn't go up to random people on the internet who are using it as a place to safely express themselves and challenge them and make them defend themselves? What sort of pansy shit is that? You think you're mad? I'm so mad I dropped my iPad. Now, look, I'm gonna take a second just to get, recentered before I try to have this conversation rationally and civilly. And I'm going to tell you that people who are on the internet are not on the internet to talk to you. You are not the center of everyone's conversations, and people don't have to convince you of the validity of how they experience the world and attractions that they feel or don't feel. The reality is asexuality is a thing, and asexuality is the word that most appropriately describes some people. And they don't have to explain that to you or justify it to you. Especially people who are not on the internet to convince other people of their ideas, but are on the internet because being on the internet is a safe place for themselves, where they can learn more about themselves and they can figure out the language that most properly articulates their particular truths. I think it's really important that you learn to decenter yourself, at the very least when you are viewing content that is created by other people. I don't want you to lose yourself, but I do want you to be able to understand and listen respectfully to other people, including and especially asexual content creators, if you are going to be spending time in the asexual content sphere and in the asexual world that exists online. Alright, look, Doc, I'll try things your way. I'm gonna do some deep breathing to lose my sense of ego and to, try to become one with the cosmos and achieve some sense of clarity. I don't know if that made any sense, but let's try it together. You know, what's really strange? I'm getting a sort of epiphany, and it almost feels like I am not a real person, but a character that exists as a sort of amalgamation of someone else's, maybe even your experiences with people who don't understand asexuality and don't really want to learn, but view asexuality as something that it's not. Either a condition that they can fix, or some other sort of indicator that some person is not healthy in some way. And that's really weird. If people actually think like that, it's kind of messed up. And I know that as I come closer and closer to achieving a sort of clarity of vision and purpose, I'm starting to feel less and less real, but I can't help but shake this feeling like people who have that point of view, the point of view that I just articulated, are just really weird. I can't imagine going through life thinking that the way other people experience or don't experience a feeling that is common to me are somehow broken. That's just a really egotistical way of thinking, and it kind of drives me wild thinking that might be the way that some people think. Does that... I honestly don't know if that makes any sort of sense. I hope it does, but it probably doesn't. When you talk like that, you give me this really weird idea, and I'm just gonna throw it out there, and I know it's gonna be kind of wild. I hope that you'll just listen to it, you'll just hear me out, and give me your insights when I'm done explaining it. Just imagine for a second that you weren't real, and that even for the sake of argument, I wasn't real, and this is instead a way for someone who is an actual asexual content creator and has dealt with trolls both on his own content and on the content of other asexual content creators. And we're just playing out some weird sort of digital play where we have a conversation about dealing with trolls as an asexual person and also being a troll of an asexual content creator. And we're also a way to show solidarity with other asexual content creators from someone who is kind of frustrated with having to defend his own existence and just wants to help people learn to take pride in expressing themselves and wants to help people learn better ways, little by little, to deal with these sorts of trolls. I know that that's a wild idea, and now that I've said it out loud, I've kind of got to laugh, you know? I really like your scenario, Doc. I think it's really creative. And man, it's so amazing that you just made that up. Now, I'm going to add some stuff to it. Let's pretend, for the sake of arguments, that the person you're saying has created this whole elaborate scenario and has spent several minutes to several hours filming everything and getting it all together, doesn't quite know how to properly end this new sort of experimental video, and is also frustrated having filmed the same closing scene over and over again, trying to get it just right because they don't have very good editing skills. And let's also pretend, for the sake of arguments, that I am not reflective of every single person who doesn't understand asexuality and engages with asexual content creators in negative or frustrating ways, but am instead someone who is designed by the person who created this whole content thing that you're saying to be representative of a particular type of person who sometimes engages with asexual content creators. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that I'm intended to be something resembling a troll, not someone who's interested in engaging in particularly good faith, someone who is maybe willing to learn sometimes, but mostly comes just to mess with people and get under their skin for some reason that people who aren't trolls will probably not fully understand unless I go out of my way to explain it in terms that they could understand, but that's not a thing I have a whole lot of interest in doing. And let's pretend, for the sake of arguments, that this video is gradually wrapping up, and that the person who created it wants to use this time to ask for feedback, because this is definitely, if someone is making a video out of our very real TMCR conversation, then they're definitely making a really weird one. So let's let that person plug their Patreon and try to get people to support them, because, it's definitely weird to be creating this sort of content. It's experimental, it's risky, and people who are willing to do stuff like that deserve support. And let's pretend, not quite for the sake of argument, but just to test our imagination, that there is an end screen on this video right now, and that, as previously mentioned, hopefully, the person behind the video isn't quite sure of how to end it appropriately, so he's probably going to end it really